Mel Tucker's a ball of energy. Mel Tucker's an elite recruiter. Mel Tucker is going to represent a culture change in that football program.
I know one thing, once we get these guys on campus, we'll be able to close them.
That's the guy that I see on Twitter all the time on private jets. Man, he's at my practice and he's starstruck. That's the effect he's had after one good season.
As soon as they walk in the building, they're going to feel the vibe. They're going to know.
He's a branding genius.
They're going to like it.
And if he can get one or two more of these seasons, there will be recruits coming to Michigan State that you've never seen come to Michigan State.
We ain't done yet. We are not done yet.
This dude gets players. Period.
You guys saw that. Today, that is probably my 345th time that I've watched that video because it gets me pretty jacked up, I got to say. I'm a big Mel Tucker guy. You can't have multiple commission pieces on your wall of a guy if you don't at least kind of like the guy. So welcome back, Spiro Avenue Show. We're going to keep chopping. Nobody chops more than the Spiro Avenue Show, that's for sure. Certainly in the Michigan State pond, which is actually quite deep, as we all know. This is a day that I'm in the presence of greatness. I'm in the presence of someone who is not only great in of herself, but also a proxy to greatness with the Michigan State recruiting department.
Oh, you're too kind.
I'm excited for this one. I got to say, on-campus recruiting coordinator Lauren McCree, they call her the Beyonce of football. That's the nickname that's been thrown around, right? A critical cog in the Michigan State recruiting machine up there for the MSU football program. Welcome to the Spiro Avenue Show, Lauren.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I am thrilled. I've had more fun with you in the last 10 minutes before the show than I think I've had with any other guest. No offense to the repeats out there. You're just an awesome person to talk to.
You.
I'm excited for the audience. I didn't know what to expect. I know your job is cool. You have to be dynamic to even do what you do. Yeah. But you're awesome. You're going to be great. I can't wait to get into this with you. So let's get right into it. Mel Tucker, I think everyone, as we saw, some of those clips were from before he even stepped foot in East Lansing for his introductory press conference. Mel Tucker is a big game hunter in recruiting. He's fantastic. That was his calling card before we even knew what kind of a head coach he would be in terms of in-game strategy and whatnot. You guys are really not messing around up there. This is something, the level that you guys are at, the approach, the mentality is something I haven't really seen. You went all the way to the finish line with Keontae Goodwin. Am I getting that name right? With Kentucky?
Keontae, yep.
Keontae, okay, I apologize. Yep. With 5-star, went to Kentucky ultimately. The fact that we were even on the doorstep at the buzzer, Justin Thin, good friend of mine, was teased in that clip, said it was very close. That was out of nowhere that we even got close. I think we're getting there. Before I get it into your lap, which I will soon, Colton Pouncey said that we should get used to these types of pursuits. I want to throw that clip up there from The Athletic, good friend of the show. For anyone not used to Michigan State going after high-end talent, get used to it. Michigan State will continue to be in battles for these 5-star players, and the hope moving forward is that it will win its share. Is this sort of your understanding, too, that you guys are up there big game hunting? You're not just going after 2 and 3 stars and trying to find the diamonds in the rough. You guys are going after the best of the best in East Lansing right now?
Yes, our strategy is definitely, we think about, can this help us? Can this prospective student athlete help us go to Indianapolis? Can they help us go to the CFP? And the answer is yes, then we go and pursue them. It's really that simple. And so we obviously try to get the best that we can in the state of Michigan. That showed in the 2022 recruiting class. And so we're just going to continue to keep going and keep building and keep chopping.
We have to keep chopping.
Yes.
The people that I know and trust in and around this program, some on record on the show, in print like Colton Pouncey, some off the record, just one-on-one with me. Everyone that knows a lot more than I do seems to say, we're kind of away from the days of every 5th or 6th year there's going to be one 5-star kid that comes through. I mean, it's like you get, Golston comes through, and 5 years, later maybe you get somebody like Goodwin, but it's like every 5th year you're getting 1 or 2 of these guys. The mentality is that you are going to go after multiple of these guys every year and eventually land them. Is that too ambitious? Because I don't know about recruiting in the 1960s. I was born in 87. In my lifetime, the idea of Michigan State always even being close to signing multiple 5-stars in one cycle is like insane. Is that overly ambitious, do you think?
I don't think so. Coach Tucker does not think small. As mentioned to a lot of our players, we looked in going into the season that we are going to do our best and compete for the Big Ten championship and for the college football playoffs. So we did fell short this year. And so it's just kind of about gaining ground and moving forward for next year. But no, we are not being overzealous thinking that way. Coach Tucker, I think one time he said, I think he said on an official visit one time when we invited some prospective student athletes, he said, like, you're going to tell me no 3 times. And he means that. So when you come to East Lansing, a lot of people are really shocked what they see, but it's always a great time. And we recommend everybody has to have a chance to see what we have to offer.
I'm a huge Mark D'Antonio fan. And so I'll preface this by saying I am not insulting Mark D'Antonio. But Mark D'Antonio, I think his mentality was we're going to get scrappy, tough guys. Not that he never went, big game hunting. He did a few times, but he was going after the undervalued 2- and 3-star almost exclusively. It was more regional recruiting, Ohio, a lot of that, certainly Michigan, Illinois to a lesser extent. It seems like D'Antonio's goal, his ceiling in his head, not that he said it, but my understanding was get to the Rose Bowl, win the Big Ten, beat Michigan, which is, if you were around before Mark D'Antonio, that seemed pretty goddamn ambitious too. But before D'Antonio, Tucker comes in with a little different mentality. My take is, yeah, of course, the Rose Bowl, winning the Big Ten, fantastic. And it's not that that's not on the sheet of goals. But he's got another page there that I don't think D'Antonio had. Obviously, D'Antonio would have loved to win a national title or to make it to the national championship game. But I don't think that was really what he was chasing. I think he wanted to win that conference. Is it safe to say that Mel Tucker is determined to win a national title here, and a Big Ten title is really sort of a secondary, although still wonderful goal?
Yeah, I think both of them are just as important, but that is our goal. We talk about that a lot, is that we want to win a national championship, period. And, us winning a New Year's Six game was great. I'm so glad we did that and pulled that victory out. But now it's like, okay, cool. Now, like, what's next? And so now we're preparing and getting our guys ready for winter conditioning because we're coming back.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't recall a single quote in the D'Antonio era. He was here for over a decade where it's like, oh, we're chasing a national title. When I had Kenneth Walker and Connor Hayward sitting in here for the show in September, they're like openly talking about, we're trying to win a national title this year, which at the time they were 1-0, but even then I was like, hey, go 6-6. I'm going to be throwing Mardi Gras down Grand River. That's not what happened. They were ended up being an 11-win team. I have no recollection in my lifetime of Michigan State just openly, not just in-house, openly discussing national championships. I thought someone who put this really well was Colin Cowherd from Fox Sports. He discussed this in terms of Michigan State has been a very good Tier 2 program, multiple double-digit win seasons in the past decade. They are trying to, with that Mel Tucker extension in particular, when they locked him up, go from Tier 2 to Tier 1. We're going to fire up that clip. I want to get your reaction to this one.
It's interesting. What Michigan State is saying is what Oregon did about 20 years ago. Oregon, about 20 years ago, Phil Knight stepped in as a booster and said, we want to go from a Tier 2 program to a Tier 1 program, which Oregon is now. We'll pay whatever it takes with facilities, stadium, marketing, merchandising, uniforms, coordinators, and coaches. So I love what Michigan State's doing. They're saying, we're going to pay a coach $9 to $10 million a year. We want Michigan State to be Notre Dame, a northern elite program.
You agree with Notre Dame being on that list? I mean, they played for a title in the past decade. They've been very, very good, and certainly in the history, they're a traditional power, I suppose. Do you think that this Tier 1 jump is realistic? Where this is, I mean, maybe you're not Alabama, but maybe you even have a Clemson-type run where you're in the title game twice in 5 years kind of thing. Like, is this completely crazy? I know that's what you're shooting for, shoot for the moon kind of stuff.
No, I don't think it's crazy at all. That's pretty much how Coach Tucker is. I mean, even when I'm on social media and Twitter, sometimes we do get frustrated when we see, us kind of getting that Tier 2 talk amongst the beat writers or, on the sport networks. It's like, come on now, like, we're at a New Year's Six game and this is how you're treating us. And so we still haven't feel like we've really earned the respect that on a national level that we believe we're capable of. And so this isn't just shoot for the moon, it's good on TV. Like, no, that's our process.
I don't think Tucker has said a single thing since he's gotten here that he didn't really believe or mean. I mean, that he has backed everything that he has said up. He has not been really caught on anything once that I've realized anyway. He's talked about going after a certain size prototype for each position. His recruiting and his targeting of recruits has backed that up. So, yeah, I believe you. I think he really does think that. I know Brian Masalam has been on the show, former MSU trustee, a good friend of Mel Tucker's, has said this guy really thinks this is a program that could win multiple national titles when he's here, and he would have never stayed here if he didn't believe that, because someone was going to pay Mel Tucker.
Right.
It's look at the coaching market.
Yeah.
So I buy it. And the thing that I think people forget, 2013, Michigan State had an argument for being the best team in the whole country. Unfortunate loss at Notre Dame, somewhat controversial, 13-1. Went to the college football playoff in 2015. This is with a program that was not recruiting, that did not have the elite facilities that they're coming into now and to a certain extent have now. This program has been, in the last decade, a lot closer than I think people even remember. Tucker doesn't have to take this thing 10 steps beyond where D'Antonio maxed out. He needs to go basically one more step. I mean, I think we're closer than people even realize.
Yeah, we are, and I think people just need to even look at just the growth from season 1 to season 2. We got all of our trophy games that we got back. New Year's Six game recruiting class has increased tremendously. We are getting new facilities that is in the process of going to effect soon, and so these are real things. We're not just talking it; we're backing it with actions, and so. You just have to wait and see.
The fact that this program won 11 games this year is like the funniest thing ever in the most wonderful way. Like I people can pull the receipts, Lauren.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, if they go 6-6, I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I would have been cool with the Mel Tucker big extension if they went 7-5. Like I just think what he did, again, no knock on D'Antonio, whom I love, whose painting is on the wall just like Tucker's is. They're right next to each other in the bathroom over here. They're all like no knock on D'Antonio, but this program was in rough shape. The fact that the team didn't go 0-7 last year to me is stunning. I mean, they beat two teams as a huge underdog in Northwestern and Michigan. 11 wins this year, which is insane. I can't wait to see what this guy can do when the deck is not stacked against him, because the deck is stacked against him. I mean, or has been. Now he's getting his ducks in a row. The big criticism I've heard from people that don't like Michigan State so much is, fun year, 2-5 the first year, whatever, fun year this year, but he was a complete product of he hit the lotto with Kenneth Walker. And but for Kenneth Walker being worth 5 wins, which he very well may have been, Mel Tucker's kind of been a losing coach, and he just found lightning in a bottle. Just wait now that Walker's gone. Is that BS to you?
Yeah, totally. It's I've heard that before when even when he opted out of the bowl game, and everybody. I have friends who dabble in betting, and they were like, "Oh, well, I'm not rooting for your team, Lauren. Sorry." And I was like, "We have Jalen Naylor, Jaden Reed, Malik Carr. Like, we still have." Like dogs. So yes, Kenneth Walker is great, and we're so thankful that we had him this season. But it was not Kenneth Walker and the Pips, as like my dad would say. Like Peyton Thorne, great quarterback. Our defense, Drew Beasley. Like we had some seniors that really had something to prove on special teams, from Bryce to Coughlin. So yes, we were very thankful for Kenneth, but it was not all Kenneth. We had great leadership from Xavier Henderson, who wasn't a transfer. And so a lot of our guys who even stepped up as leaders weren't really transfers with Coach Tucker either. That's something that we don't like, is that whole like transfer you thing. Like that's not us either, but I've seen that a lot on Twitter. But yeah, so yeah, Kenneth Walker, we're beyond grateful for him. We owe him everything, but we're not here without the rest of our guys. Everybody matters.
Yeah, that offensive personnel was loaded.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
OCJ, man. That's what I call Coach Johnson.
Yeah, well, I'm a big Johnson guy. I love Jay Johnson.
Fan.
So, yeah, don't get me started on Jay. This is already the Mel Tucker affectionate hour here. But.
I love Coach Johnson. I don't know how he tolerates me.
So you're openly affectionate.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the privilege of having one of those badges I can swipe at Scandalaris and go through the doors.
Yeah.
I would get arrested if I went up to him. But, I'm with you. I love Jay Johnson. And I love what he's done. And he's done everything that Michigan State fans wanted forever under D'Antonio. With, look, the offensive coordinators here pre-Tucker era, it was a little rough. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, to the point, probably cost them a national title in 2013, arguably, certainly a shot at it. This is a different situation now. I can't remember liking my offensive coordinator as a Michigan State fan in my entire life. It's just, I love D'Antonio, the coordinators not as much, offensive coordinators. But I love what they're doing. I love top to bottom what they're doing. And I think the thing with the Walker thing, it's like, I'm sorry, you can't discount who recruited Walker, who gave the pitch to entice him to come here, who built the like. You get credit for what's the criticism? Oh, that guy you convinced to come here was really good.
Yeah,
like it's a weird kind of criticism to even levy.
And then you think your O-line helping make the holes. Like there's so many factors that go into this.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Although I think you and I could have been on the offensive line and he would have found a way.
Oh yeah,
not to shit on anybody, but like, come on, let's be frank. Yeah, I think we can agree. Michigan State's a great institution. It's an easy sell, I would think, if I'm you, if I'm Mel Tucker, if I'm anyone on that staff, to say, look, you're a kid, you're holding offers from Purdue, from Rutgers, and from Michigan State. Like, don't go to Purdue or Rutgers. Come to Michigan State. That's easy. But the boat, not easy, but easier. The waters you guys are swimming in, which is the deep water, as we all know, is not going against Rutgers for guys all that often. It's going to be going after Clemson, Georgia, Alabama. Your job, your entire being is to give a good impression and make these kids want to come here. What is the pitch? You can convince me, come to Michigan State, don't go to Rutgers. Why would I, as a kid with options, come to you guys and not to Nick Saban at Alabama?
We get that question a lot. I think the main thing that I always say is that like, what you see on your visits is what you get every single time. Recruiting phone is buzzing.
You have my full blessing to answer the recruiting phone at any time. Justin Thind was on his phone the entire first time he was here, but he was like getting texts from like his girlfriend or something.
Oh no,
you can answer.
The mid-years are coming in a couple days. So
I have been blamed. I have been blamed for kids not coming to Michigan State before recruits. So
no, it's okay. He signed.
Okay, all right. Oh, he already signed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Put him on mute. Then.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll call him.
Send
back.
him the voice.
And it's not. He knows me. He knows not to call after 9.
Yeah. How dare him?
But back to the point, we always say like what you see is what you get, and we mean that from when people come to East Lansing. And yes, we may not have the facilities just yet, and maybe we're not the tier 1 program just yet, but you could see and feel it in our in our program when you talk to our support staff, our academics, our position coaches. Almost every recruit who went out with their player host on official visits, all of them came back and was like, yeah, like everybody's just so genuine, like the synergy is just great. And we don't tell them anything. Like I always feel like the player hosts are the best people like to sell a program, because they can be like, yeah, I'm just ready to jump in the portal or whatever. You know what I mean? And we've had guys that have been so helpful and so honest. And I think that's kind of what's been so great about us, that we have this philosophy of, we have an answer for everything. And if we don't have an answer, we'll get that for you. But we don't like to just do the sparkles and fireworks for stuff. This is what you get. And this is what we are. So when you come here, there's no surprises either. That's what I have noticed, like when I've talked to transfers who've come, is that they're like, oh, wow, like, okay, this is what you guys said you were, and now you guys are that. And that's kind of what I think helps us, is I really believe you could feel it when you like see us and you see our athletic director and you see our position coaches and everybody, that it's a genuine, authentic program.
That transfer portal door spins pretty aggressively.
Yes.
But a component of that is also people leaving. I understand if it's playing time. Look, I don't have a chance to play. Rocky Lombardi said he loved Mel Tucker, loved Michigan State, but like, I'm not going to be the starter. I want to go start. I get that. That's an exception. Is there a certain thing you're seeing, without naming names even, why would somebody leave? Like, what do you see as a reason other than playing time? What kind of a kid isn't a fit for Mel Tucker in the program there?
It just could be the culture. I do believe culture is like a word that gets thrown around often, but I do believe that, the coach that maybe you liked with Coach D doesn't align with what you like with Coach Tucker. Or it could simply just be that, what I thought I wanted maybe isn't what I wanted. Coach Tucker and all of the staff are really some tough coaches. And sometimes it's not for everybody. That's not saying like they can't handle it. I don't want to put that out there. But sometimes it just may not just be the right fit. And I always think that's okay, Yeah. And so but sometimes playing time, people always think playing time, but sometimes it's just really not a right fit, or we have an opportunity that we want to improve. And so maybe we can show them a different way. And we do try our best to help our people land somewhere else if possible.
I can't imagine, like, I wouldn't make myself fit if I had the ability and eligibility to play for Mel Tucker. Like, just seeing this guy's Twitter videos and stuff, we put a couple of them in the clip there at the beginning. It's like, man, I wish I were good at football and 19 years old. Like, I'd be like, Mel, I'll go right into your arms, Mel. I'm to the point of, like, hypocrisy with standing for this guy. I just love the guy. Justin and I discussed the cult of personality with Mel Tucker. Just, yes, he's an intense guy. He cares. He's genuine. What you see is what you get. And he's straight with guys. And obviously, his resume speaks for itself. He's a football lifer. He's a smart guy, sharp guy. That's all a given. We get that.
Right.
He is in a different level, or on a different level, and in a different category, maxing out in the cult of personality, where as brilliant as another coach may be, Nick Saban is the all-time best coach ever.
Right.
Mel Tucker is like the Nick Saban of personality in terms of the marketing and the presentation. How much of an advantage do you think it is that he does the cigar stuff and the private jet stuff and the shoe, shoe reveal Friday or whatever it is? You deal with these kids. This is your job day in and day out. How much value is placed into that component of Mel Tucker?
I think it's important. I believe that having a swagger coach is just another extra benefit for your program. And he's just like that. Like, he loves his Jordans. And so he kind of shows them off to guys. He has some exclusive stuff in his office. I'm not a Jordan person, so I never know what he has on, but they look nice. And so
look at the cigar picture.
Oh, yeah. And
he's too cool, man.
Yeah, he has like this swab, and it's very natural. Like, and I think he knows, like, when he does a Spartan walk in the suits. And so, but all of that kind of comes like when you look at him, it's like, yeah, I want to play for that. Like that's the guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like, I wish I were good and young.
Yeah, and so and it's not it's him. Like, I remember and like my grandmother's always like, I saw his suit. It looked nice today. And so, but it helps. I think it's something that it makes you stand out. It makes you different. Because a lot of coaches can get, kind of, you like, who's the head coach of whatever, you know what I mean? And so for him, it's like, no, you're going to know who Coach Tucker is, period. So whether it's on his Twitter or just, you see the cigar picture or just whatever, like you will notice him.
I mean, if I'm a kid that's, highly regarded, highly chased after, highly sought after, and I have, Brian Kelly's a hell of a coach, LSU's a hell of a program, but I have Brian Kelly in my living room or Mel Tucker. Like, look, I know LSU's bringing some other things to the table. That's fine. But, I mean, come on, as a guy, as a personality, it's not even close. I think it's a huge advantage.
Yes.
Do people talk about that at all with you? Like, when you're arranging these visits, like, hey, what's he like? Or...
Yeah, we get that a lot. A lot of people say, like, oh, he's so calm. And he is. He's very, very calm. And then, when he has those meetings, he gets energetic. And, the practices was Coach Me, Coach Tuesday. That's one of our practices. He gets intense, but he's very calm, like in mellow and whatnot. But he's a very attentive listener. I think that's one thing that I think the recruits like a lot, the parents especially. He tries to find things that he can relate to with them. And so, but he's a really cool, laid-back guy. When you walk away, you're like, oh, man, I want to invite that guy to dinner.
I've heard he's really funny.
Yeah.
Because,
he's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Because someone that knows him well, Mel has a standing invitation to sit in the chair you're in now.
Right, of course.
He's on my short list of I might cut off a limb to make it happen. But I've never met him. But what I've heard from people around him that know him, I've asked, the guy seems pretty bland. The locker room video is great.
Oh, yeah.
I get that, but he gets up there and it's like, no offense, Mel, but I'm falling asleep on you here. Like he's kind of rocking me to bed.
Right.
And is this guy kind of just bland?
No,
and they said that is not.
Oh yeah,
him.
no, that's just press conference, Coach Tucker.
Which is great. I'm good with that. Like, be boring. You don't want. We had a Coach John L. Smith slapping himself up there. I'm not. Please don't be colorful and enigmatic and crazy up there. Like be as stoic as possible.
He has this kind of demeanor where sometimes you don't know if he's trying to be funny. So, you don't know, you're in the meetings, do you laugh? And so since we wear, masks at the meetings, okay, so I can kind of laugh. No one sees it.
Yeah.
But
thank God for COVID, right?
Yeah. But no, he does say stuff that you almost don't know if it's funny but it's funny. And so,
Yeah.
but no, he's really a funny guy, and definitely that's just all for, business, and when it's time to focus. But he has a lot of energy and very funny.
Yeah, he's in a unique class of guys. Like, he can sell now a very real result, an 11-win season in his first. I'm sorry, I don't care what he says. I love him. I love that he's taking this attitude. That was year one. That was year one.
Yeah, and people don't understand that, year one was so much. COVID hit us really bad. We had a lot of guys that were recovering from COVID and trying to get their strength back. And, and then, the guy, we had, maybe 3 practices before we shut down. And it was a lot. Everything that could go against us could go against us. And I don't, and obviously people don't know all the behind the scenes, but it was a lot of quarantining and all this other type of stuff that affected us that season. And so for us to even get the 7 games and not even have to cancel on our part, I thought was even a big accomplishment for us because it was a lot.
And you look at this coaching cycle in this past year, everyone's switching in December. I mean, Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly, Venables going to Oklahoma. You go in December. Tucker came in February.
Right.
So even if COVID doesn't happen,
right,
that is almost unprecedented behind the 8-ball situation.
Exactly.
You put those two together. He's installing a playbook on Zoom. He's at practice. He had who these guys are. They have name tags on in the 3rd week of practice because most of them were digital. It's
right. Yeah.
That first year, the fact that they didn't go winless to me, it's the best 2-5 season in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
But
I always said we're the best 2-5 team ever.
It's the best. It's the best 2-win team ever. I would have signed up for that 2 wins in a heartbeat with what we were facing. So he has a real result to sell, but he can combine the result now with that 11-win season with the personality. I give a shit about you. I have the NFL ties. He's just a home run. When we had Walker and Hayward in here, they were great. They're the best guys ever. I just love those guys. They talked about it a little bit about how it was appealing to them. I want to play that and kind of see if this is your understanding too with the kids you talk to.
He comes every day with new pairs of shoes, trying to look all nice in his Lulu joggers, with his Perrier water, super bougie, but
actually threw me off the first time I ever seen him post. Cause he had J's on, he got better shoe game than me, bro.
Let me get some.
Cause we in practice is meat and potatoes and stuff like that. No flair, none of that. Then I see his Instagram and he posting Jordans and stuff. Dang.
That's kind of what the reaction is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They almost can't believe it. It's like that this guy's this cool. He's just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, very swaggy. Like I said, he has his sparkling water or his Bang energy drink, and he just gets it going. And he definitely has the drip, as I say.
I was impressed by the guy's suits when he was making $4.5 million or whatever it was. I can't wait to see what he's rocking now.
Oh yeah, who knows?
Yeah, he's buying something that he didn't have before. That wardrobe's getting spruced up, and it didn't have that much more room to go. I don't know what he's going to pull out now. I can't wait for that one. I can't wait to see the 50% raise Mel Tucker, where he was already at with the swag. So I want to get into the nitty gritty as much as I could talk about Mel for 5 hours. I want to get into you and kind of your role in more detail. Your particular role, you're director of on-campus recruiting, coordinator, whatever the title may be. You're in charge of once these guys are there, you have to make it nice. You have to make it appealing to them. So you're not working the phones maybe before, but once they're there, you got to put out a hell of a show for them. It's as cutthroat and competitive as it is. The nitty-gritty of what you're doing and what you're doing day to day. When kids show up, what are you going to have to do to make sure their experience is so good that it stands out against someone maybe touring Alabama the next weekend?
Right. Well, one thing to add to my role is that I also handle a lot of the enrollment and admissions process. So once a kid has decided to verbally commit to us, our next step is to help make sure that their grades are good and getting them into Michigan State.
That came up, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names. You guys got called out by a coach down south, I think, in Tennessee. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well,
that kid was
happen.
That kid was not eligible academically, is what I was told from Justin Thin. But but that's part of your job is getting them qualified.
So that is also a step, and also coordinating with any of their academic requests on their visit. So if we do have a kid, I can say Caden Hauser's name, obviously. So Caden Hauser, he on his visit, he he talked about wanting to be an orthopedic surgeon, so we got one on his visit. Like within MSU athletics. And so it's little things like that that help. I think the biggest thing that what we try to do, Jensen, Gebhardt, myself, we work really close together along with Saeed, is really just trying our best to figure out like who's advanced, who's like with the people, who's not, and then like make sure our students are helpful. Our students are like our number one supporters and go-getters. They're the ones with me when I'm throwing all my stuff to get in the hotel rooms to decorate, to be on advance for us. So the biggest thing I think is really just be yourself. I've always said that the only way I could compete against someone else is just being myself. And being authentic is something that I pride myself on. And I usually at the end of every trip, I have like a parent or recruit just go like, wow, like I really appreciate like you. I just feel like, I'm talking to a person, not like a used car salesman or anything like that. And I don't try to be in people's faces and just be like, oh, Michigan State's the best place ever. I mean, it is, but you don't want it to come off phony. And so we're big on that. But for operations standpoint, Jensen is like my right-hand man. We work hand in hand trying to get stuff together along with Sean and Andrew and Matt Pick. But it is a group effort, so I can't take all the credit.
You're the group, but you're the conductor, right? So
yeah.
You lead the orchestra.
Yeah.
So where do the guys stay? The recruits? Do they stay at that graduate hotel that's new there?
So we kind of ping pong back and forth between the graduate hotel and the Marriott East Lansing.
Okay, the graduate's really nice.
I
was there for that game in October, which was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was so busy.
Yeah, Matt Leinart and Brady Quinn were on my hallway, so I was like, we're getting off the elevator, and it's like, that's Matt Leinart walking by. It was pretty,
I think Fox
wild.
Sports stayed there.
Yeah. Oh, they offered. I can't remember. They offered us. It was like $3,000, I think, for our room. They were trying to buy it. They were like offering bribes because they didn't book enough rooms for their personnel.
Lord.
So yeah, it's an incredible hotel.
They're
not a sponsor or anything, but like the graduate in East Lansing's awesome. So you said something about decorating hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Wait, tell me. I want to know about that. Like,
Yeah,
put balloons in there. For
it just
them?
depends on the vibe. I'm not the biggest decorator. Most of the stuff we put in there is a lot of information. So it could be cards that our coaches may have written to the players, like welcoming them to East Lansing. A lot of it is kind of like information stuff. So there will be stuff about like our history and how we like integrated college football. There may be like Coach Tucker's resume or their position coach resume. And so it's a lot of informative stuff. And of course, there's a couple like goodies here and there, but nothing too elaborate. I have seen some people at other programs go all out. I commend them. But I do think that it's kind of like what Connor and Kenneth, like the meat and potatoes type things. It's kind of like a little bit my mantra. Like, if I lose a kid because I didn't have a balloon in their hotel room, then okay. Like, I can live.
Yeah, well, if those are the grounds we're losing this battle on.
Then, okay,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But they can't say that we didn't get them from point A to point B, like, seamless, and they didn't know, or any type of fire that was going on got put out without them, like, ever missing a beat. And I think the biggest thing in our role is you have to be adaptable, and you have to really just adjust, because we can plan and we can always plan, but something always happens. Like, just you never know. And so just learning how to adjust and make sure it works, not letting other people see that. And if something happens, communicating. So all that plays a factor in making sure that you run a smooth operation. But it does take a team.
You're quite a bit younger than I am. So this is probably outside of your. Do you know of the show Entourage, even if you didn't watch it?
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't watch it though, I'm guessing.
No,
Yeah.
one of my Sean, one of my coworkers, he watches it. So
it's a classic, it went kind of downhill at the end. But for Entourage fans, like there was a part where the agent, Ari Gold, gets fired by the movie star, and then he's like trying to recruit him back later on in the series. And he's given this elaborate presentation, and it's like this video that they had made up, and it's Vinny Chase, Ferrari. Coca-Cola, like brands. And they almost, basically the idea was they overdid it. It's like, look, we were friends before this. Like you're kind of, is that a theory at all that you can almost oversell and sort of forfeit that you're a genuine person and we're going to shoot you straight?
Yeah, sometimes I think so. It's a game, and you have to play the game as best as you can. And so you do have to kind of find that line of like, okay, if I know that this recruit likes X or Y or Z, like how do I make that? And like, do we focus so hard on that, or what do they want? And that's what helps us when we ask, like, just like, what do you want? Why are you here? Like, what matters to you the most? We ask the parents, like, what matters to them the most? Usually what matters to them is academics. And so trying to accommodate that. And we have a great academic coordinator, Mandy Chandler. She's just thebomb.com. But it's an interesting battle. You know, I don't think I ever lost a kid because we went like too hard in the paint, but I don't know. And so, but to my knowledge, you just kind of have to try to find that happy medium. But I think almost every visit that we've had, at least last season, I walked away thinking like, okay, I think we did everything we could, and I hope they come. And
so if Warren McCree is just a company and you're making the website for yourself and the company that you are,
right,
and you're making the FAQ section, the frequently asked questions of you, what's kind of like the most common 2 or 3 questions you get up there from these kids coming through? What kind of stuff do they ask?
My favorite one is, what do I do?
Just asking what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm always like, oh, well, I mean, I'm like an event planner / academic liaison / I don't know. And so
a lot of hats.
Yeah. And so I remember Dylan Tatum, he had asked me something, and I was like, what am I, like your consultant? And he was like, you're everything for us, Lauren. I was like,
a lot of hats.
I think that will be a FAQ. Another one is, that's a good one. That's a good question. But I think another one will probably be, like, how long have I been here? And then, my favorite one is, so how do you feel, you know, working here when you went to that other school? I was bearing that a little bit, but you went there. So you're a University of Michigan alum. I know. Don't cancel me.
Look, my best friend, and you know, he was one of my 2 best men in my wedding. Mm-hmm. My brother was the other one. Is a Michigan guy. Mm-hmm. So like I can do that. I'm okay. You know, but it is interesting to me because, look, University of Michigan's an incredible institution. Obviously, the academics, unbelievable. The football program's storied. So it's not like I can't fathom why someone would want to work there or go there. It speaks for itself. But it is interesting. I don't know if I had options, if I could do that. It's just to go there and actively, especially with what you're doing. It's one thing if I'm like an accountant and I'm just making sure they don't get audited.
Right.
Like that's not what you're doing. You're not an accountant that's kind of like...
I'm telling people to not go to my alma mater.
Exactly. So tell me about that. Is that a challenge for you at all, being a U of M alum and saying, look, don't go to Ann Arbor, come here?
I don't think so. I'm pretty bought in. I get that question a lot, especially when we played each other. Everybody was texting me like, so, and I had like some of my coaches were like, all right, Lauren. They're like, you don't have any blue under there, do you? And I was like, no. But I mean, I'm very bought in. Working with Coach Tucker is truly an opportunity, just as a girl from Detroit, and especially just being a Black woman, like having the opportunity to work for a Black head coach does not come around often. And so I believe in his vision, and so I'm very, very invested. And I think when you're around Sparty enough and you see Paul and stuff like that, you just kind of think like, yeah, Paul can't leave.
No, I know. We love him.
And so it's interesting. Like my family on my dad's side, because they are also U of M alums, did not like me on Halloween this year, or the Halloween weekend, but.
You're a house divided. So your dad was a Michigan alum?
Yes.
Alum. Okay. I can't remember if it's fan or alum.
Yep.
And your mom went to Michigan State, right?
Correct.
So this is kind of old hat to you, really, having this kind of split allegiance, really. Yeah. But so at least you were a little better conditioned for it than maybe the average person.
Right. I think the only thing about my Michigan fandom that I still haven't, process is like the muff punt. Like I still don't like seeing it.
And you're gonna see it on your way up. There's a giant painting about 6 feet.
Oh, we have a painting in our building. Like I remember like the first day, because I didn't get to go to the building until like July, because I got hired March 2020, and then with COVID we didn't go back. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's tough to like go because you were there.
I was there.
You were like a sophomore then?
I was a junior. I was there. Okay. Like and that's when I was a student worker. So I was there with recruits. Like.
Yeah, you can't just turn that trauma off.
Yeah.
Like I just think of like Trey Burke stealing the ball from Keith Appley at center court at Chrysler. If I go work for Michigan, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, that steal at center court doesn't hurt my feelings anymore. Right. It's like, no, it still hurt. Like,
that's literally the only thing that I'm like, okay, go green. And so,
yeah. It's like, you just have to like recite the mantra to yourself.
Right.
Like, I like Michigan State.
yeah,
It's like,
that's the only. Everything else, I'm like all in. That game, I'm a crier. Like my players know it, my coaches know it. Like after when we beat Michigan this year, I cried. I was so happy.
One of my 5 favorite episodes ever was when we had Jalen Watts Jackson and Chris Baldwin, the Surrender Cobra Michigan fan.
Oh.
Did you see that we had those guys here?
I know you had Jalen. I didn't know you had the other guy.
Yeah, we had the sad, shocked Michigan fan. And there's pictures. They're sitting right next to each
That's
other.
hilarious.
And they had never met. They had never spoken or anything.
Oh,
That was
that's
their
hilarious.
first time was right here.
Yeah.
And just the pictures of like those two sitting next to each other, watching the play, breaking it down.
Oh.
And it was one of the weirdest in a
That's
cool way
so
things.
interesting.
Yeah, so we have a lot of dignitaries. You're not the only dignitary to come through.
I appreciate
we had
that.
the Surrender Cobra Michigan fan. It doesn't get much more dignified than that, right?
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, I love the whole Wolverine turn Spartan angle. But like I said, the parent thing definitely helps. It's
Yeah.
like you're somewhat accustomed to it. So, like how many... First of all, the Hauser thing wanted to meet an orthopedic surgeon.
He said he wanted to be one, like when football.
But he met you said.
So I was
he
like,
met with
okay,
one.
cool. Well, then we can get you an orthopedic surgeon to talk about his journey. And so we have a medical doctor on staff, and we arranged it, and we were like, cool. So part of his academic meeting after he talked to Mandy was he talked to our orthopedic surgeon. So.
Wait till Odell Bredham Jr. finds out that Hauser is meeting with orthopedic surgeons during his campus visits. The guy already has like 17 billboards ready to go for this kid.
I love Caden Hauser. And I love Odell Bredham. I actually met him.
You met Odell?
Yes.
He's the best.
He's such a great guy.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
I truly, I wish I could have a burner. And so... Because sometimes, you got to be professional, but there's just sometimes I just wish I can just. So sometimes I just send it to Odell.
Feed him. He'll be your sword.
Yeah.
He is the funniest account. Like forget
love
the
it.
Michigan State thing. Like
It's hilarious.
The funniest account period that I follow.
Oh,
He
yeah.
cracks me up. I was saying before the Michigan game I couldn't get them made in time. I wanted to have T-shirts, and I'm putting this in the brain for next year.
Okay.
Of his like tweets, just the quotes, the stuff he comes up with.
They're amazing.
The entire eyes of the world will be on East Lansing
it's
for their game against
hilarious.
Purdue or whatever.
Oh my god, like I love it. Like he's so funny.
Yeah.
But no, he's a great. Shout out to Odell Bredham. So,
He's the best. I love
Yeah.
him. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So you have a general template that these visits follow, where it's like, okay, they're going to meet probably their position coach. They're going
Right.
to stay at this hotel. There's a general template, but there is some like kind of customization built into the guy. Is that done from kind of pre-work talking to them?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have questionnaires and stuff like that, and that's pretty standard. And then just talking to them if we know that they like certain things, if they have any allergies, or it can just be anything they may mention that they like. And so we just try our best to do what we can, just little things like that to kind of like put in here and there. So it's always a good opportunity.
Speaking of badasses, our dietitian Amber is...
I love Amber.
Did you see these before and afters of our players? It's like a P90X
I was talking to
ad.
I went to work out today, and I was texting Amber like, "Girl, guess what I did?" And she was like, "Yes." And so
What is she and Jason Novak doing up there?
they're doing it.
They're
doing
have you
it.
seen the before
Yes.
and
Oh,
afters
yes.
of these players? It's not like they're coming in like the Kool-Aid guy. They're coming in pretty good.
Right.
They look photoshopped.
Oh yeah, Amber is the woman. Truly,
I'm calling her. I need some help from Amber.
Oh yeah, she will help you. Amber is great. Everything is science based. She has personalized plans that she does with the guys. She like has things like set up because obviously what a wide receiver would eat would be different what a lineman would eat and like a linebacker. And she just has it all planned out. She has customized shakes. She's able to sneak vegetables in their shakes. They don't see it. She's great.
Get a little kale in there.
Oh yeah, no, she does that, and she keeps it. It's like in a Gatorade cup, but then the lid is like grayish, so you can't see it, and then the straw. Usually, people will eat something if they can't see it. Sometimes they see a color, you'd be like, no. But if you drink it, you don't know you can't see it. So that's how she gets you. But no, she's amazing, and her work really showed at the Miami game, because we had been preparing for about 3 or 4 weeks with that game in our facility, the Weave, which is what we call our indoor field, we can get that room to be as hot as 100 degrees. And so for fall camp, which mind you, it's August and it's already hot, climate change. And so, and we even cranked it up more to get ready for that game. And our guys were hydrated. Nobody cramped. And if you've been to Hard Rock Cafe,
Hard Rock Stadium.
Excuse me, Hard Rock Cafe, Hard Rock Stadium. Deliberately, the visitor section has no shade. like that's just how the structure is. And it was hot. And I actually rewatched that game like 2 days ago. And, you know, if you look at it, like, we look great. You know, nobody cramped up, and it was hot. I think the sideline reporter said at one time it got to maybe like 103 on the field, and we just kept going. And that just is a testament to Coach Novak, Bill, our sports science guy, and Amber. They're just great.
Yeah, Tucker has somebody really good in every single position. There's no like, this person's a dud, and if they are even not cutting it a little bit, like, they're gone pretty quick. I mean, his standards are so high. We saw the same thing, by the way, with that fourth quarter stuff against Pitt too, where it's one team. I'm sorry, Narduzzi, like, I love you. Like, our team just looked better conditioned. Yeah. It looked like they had more juice at the end of that game.
That's the chopping.
Yeah, that's right. They're doing it on the sideline.
You got to chop.
So we'll do a little role play here, Warren. You're fun. You seem down there, so we're going to do a little role play. And you've touched on it a little bit. So this is going to involve your imagination to an intensity that you've never had to
love it.
kick it in. So this is going to be something, this is more than any Disney princess has ever. You have to really work at this.
Okay.
Picture Justin Spiro, the guy before you.
Okay.
As a 5-star super stud receiver. I'm 6'5". I run a 4.2 840.
Okay.
I got sticky hands. I'm the best in the country, number one guy. You find out that I'm interested in coming to Michigan State for a visit. What is your pitch to me, this 5-star superstar wide receiver? Is it any different than the 3-star linebacker from Illinois? What are you saying to me to get me excited about my visit? Is it any different, too, than what you would do for anybody else?
Well, if you mentioned that you're a wide receiver, I would have to say that you would be getting coached by the best wide receiver coach in the nation. Coach Hawkins is a 9-year NFL vet. He's a Spartan dog through and through. And he will do what it takes to get you to be the best that you can. He knows NFL talent. And so if he believes that you are good enough for his room, then I don't know anyone else you should be playing for other than the NFL vet. You see what he's done with just Jalen Naylor, who's going to the league. We'll just enter for the draft, Keon Coleman, and also we have 3 great wide receivers in the 2022 class. And so if you want to be a part of this journey, I don't think anybody else has a resume like Coach Hawkins. So...
Well, Warren, I appreciate the answer. I got all sorts of options, and I got a call from Coach Harbaugh who wants me to play wide receiver there. Ann Arbor, Michigan's a hell of a program, all-time winningest program. So tell me, if I narrow it down to Michigan and Michigan State, why should I choose Michigan State over Michigan?
Well, one, we beat them the past 2 years. We have a better record than them overall. But not to even just downplay them, it's just, they're in a weird situation with what they have going on. And so they've had this 7-year coach. Will he stay? We don't know. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Coach Tucker, he signed an extension. He's here to stay. And our goal is to win national championships and to compete. We think you're capable of doing that for us. From having our new appointed athletic director to Dr. Baker, our diversity inclusion, anything that you want to prosper on the field and off the field with Darian Harris, who's our director of player engagement, we can make that happen for you, period. And though that other school may have a lot of great things to offer as well, we can, from a competitive standpoint, be there, if not better.
I really like Twizzlers. Can I get some Twizzlers in the room when I arrive?
You can get all the Twizzlers you want.
You're such a pro. You were not prepped for that question. You had the whole thing down pat. That was a great response.
Oh, thanks.
This is why Mel Tucker's the best. He hires only aces. Everyone's an ace in this program. It's a bunch of number 1 starters. Everyone's got a Cy Young on their resume. I love Mel Tucker. What a great response. Good job by you.
Thank you.
So last thing before we get to the speed round, the LSU thing, which we can dance on the grave of that story now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But in November, it was prevalent. Mm-hmm. I think it had legs if Michigan State doesn't step up to the plate through, Ishbia, St. Andre. I wouldn't have blamed Mel Tucker for leaving to make twice as much or one and a half as much, whatever. But take me through that November for you. Like, what were you hearing? Did he address it among the staff at all? What was that kind of like, the LSU thing, which was a buzz everywhere?
Right. So what's so interesting is Coach Tucker, he has a philosophy of the noise inside has to be louder than the noise outside. And when I saw it on ESPN, we were all kind of like whispering, like, so what's going on? But mind you, like, I forgot what game we had coming up, but literally it wasn't missing a beat. Like, practices stayed the same, team meetings, staff meetings. And so, days go by, weeks go by, and you're just like, so
Did he ever give assurances? Was it like, hey guys, this is going, or was it just not even addressed?
If he did, it was maybe to like Coach Cap or maybe some of the other assistant coaches. But as far as just like me being in the sports staff category, we heard like nothing. It wasn't until I had heard a couple rumors, and you see on Twitter, and it's like, okay, so is he staying? Is he not? And then finally, like, I started hearing more momentum of like, okay, he's staying. But I was like, okay. Because obviously, the Colorado fans were just waiting to get at us.
Oh, they wanted that.
Yeah,
so they're still waiting. They're hoping.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, just be calm and, whatever happens, happens. But I promise you, like, for me, just my day-to-day, we had a football game to play, like whatever it was, and we did not miss a beat at all for any of it. And so when it finally came out, I think it came out at like 9 p.m., his statement. I think it was like the day before Thanksgiving. I think that's when it came out. We were like, whoa, okay, cool.
Very fitting with the timing of the holiday.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, Tuck's staying. And so
I wasn't nervous because I wasn't going to let him leave, actually.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was going to slash the tires or like do whatever I had to do. So
I
don't
know. My dad, he's such a optimist. I think almost like naive optimist. But I remember I was calling my dad like, I don't know. And he's like, Lauren, he's staying. Like, he's staying. He's fine. Like, Lauren, you have nothing to worry about. And I was like, who are you, Dad? But I like promise he's, and you can, I think Xavier Henderson got asked that question one time, and we literally, from the players to everybody, we just like kept chopping. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it didn't affect us at all. We just kind of like, all right, well, if it happens, we'll worry about that when that happens. But we have a football game to play for. So
I lied to you a little bit because I want to hit one more thing. I'm dying to ask you. When you landed at Michigan State on the staff, at some point you had your first conversation with Mel Tucker. Like, did he call you, email you? Was it someone else on the staff? Like, what was that interaction? Like, how did it start? So
my interview with him, I remember he was like, so I heard you from Detroit. And I was like, yeah, like I went to Cass Tech. And, obviously Cass Tech is a big sought-out recruited high school in Detroit. And then he was like, yeah, but I heard you went to the other school. And I was like, yeah, but like, it's okay.
So he brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he was like, okay, so if I hire you, you can't, bring any Michigan. So I was like, I'll leave it all in Detroit. Like, you don't have to worry. And then I think another time that we had conversation, and this what really made me really appreciate him was that summer in 2020, it was during the George Floyd situation. And we're all just in a really weird place trying to figure things out. And I remember I had a conversation with him and we just talked, and it was just like really nice that we got to have that conversation about like, how do you feel? And, do you feel safe? Just like, what is going on? What would you like to see? And I thought that was just such a great question, because I know it's hard for a head coach, especially a black head coach, to be in that position of like, you want to speak out, I want to support, but you have to think about other external things that can factor into that. And that is a recruiting point that I mentioned. We have The Rock, as you've seen on campus, and The Rock is, anybody's billboard. And of course, you can paint whatever you want as long as you're not promoting hate. And one thing that we talk about is that Coach Tucker does promote any of our players to speak out against racial injustice or anything that they care about, as long as they're not promoting hate. And I always thought that was just very admirable of him, because some coaches may want to, I don't say silence players, but encourage them to maybe just not go on social media. I know like Antoine Simmons last year was very much outspoken on his social media platforms about, all the injustices and whatnot. And so it's nice that Coach Tucker cares and wants us to have a voice. So that's probably one of my most memorable conversations that was not football related.
Yeah, that's a good story. I like that one. So in your case, does he recruit you before you accept it, or was it like, I'm in right away? Like, what's kind of the Mel Tucker? I get he's out recruiting players, but in terms of staff, what's his pitch to staff?
Good question, because how I got hired was kind of weird, because it was like 3 days before we shut down. But yeah, so it was like, are you in? And at the time, I was working with the Detroit Tigers, and I had prior to working the Detroit Tigers, I was with the University of Virginia's football team. And so working the Detroit Tigers, as a marketing intern. I really enjoyed it, but I was thinking, I think it's time to go back to football. So just having that opportunity was something that I was like, yeah, like I'll do it. And, it's my mom's alma mater and it's relatively close to home. So I was all in, honestly. So
yeah, you didn't need a hard sell from talk.
Yeah, you don't need a hard
like
sell.
Odell Bredham, if they ever call him. By the way, will you please tell someone up there to put this guy on the payroll?
No, we can't.
Why not?
Because just him being like free, we don't have to worry about any like NCA mess and what now. So it's just let him roam.
He has more value as just like a total like vagabond mercenary, but an unpaid mercenary.
Yeah, I mean we have recruits' parents who ask about him. Like so we just have to let him be. It's I love it.
Can I pay him?
I mean that's your business, but I'm just saying that he's so great.
we're just gonna get a GoFundMe. Not that he needs it, but we're gonna get a GoFundMe. Just the guys didn't even ask for anything, but he deserves it. He has actual value to me with the recruiting. I don't care what anybody says. Like that guy has actual value.
Oh, he's so great, and I love when the recruits figure out who he is. Like he's such a cool guy. Like I love it. And
he's the best.
Oh, he's the best. Like Caden Hauser met him. I don't know if you saw. Like, did you see that picture?
I did not.
Yeah.
Oh, how did I miss that one?
Yeah, so like
that's his guy.
Yeah, Caden came to the Nebraska game, and it was a night game, and Caden tweets like, "Where you at Odell Bredham?" And then like about like maybe an hour or so later, Odell posts a picture of him and Caden, but of course he puts his Twitter profile picture like of his face so he can keep his anonymity.
Yeah, right.
It was hilarious. So.
One of the best probably the best Odell Bredham tweet of all time, which I'll be heavily paraphrasing, was Hauser was about to play in split duty with another quarterback in like week 7 of some high school league. And Odell said, "The eyes of the football world will all be upon the Plantain Falls game," or whatever it is, like to see Hauser play against the Idaho Ramhawks or whatever. It's just like it's
hilarious.
It's like everyone's dying to see this high school football game,
right?
Because Hauser's playing. He's the best. I love Odell. All right, so let's get to the speed round, and then we'll get you out of here because you came all the way from East Lansing.
Yes,
you had the world's slowest driver. I think you were actually here on horseback.
I know.
It's like it took you like 2 hours to get here.
I know. I felt
bad.
Okay.
Well, I feel bad. I'm selling the interview. I'm like, don't worry, we're only about an hour away, and then like you're in a horse and buggy.
Right.
To get so we'll get to the speed round. We'll try to rip through, get you out of here.
That's all you do, speeding like that.
We are speeding. We need that driver.
Yeah, I need that driver.
The driver from the graphic. So we'll get right to it. We talked about the Michigan angle. We'll go right into the depths of Ann Arbor.
Ooh.
Warren's Ann Arbor hangout. You're Friday night, Saturday night. Like where are we gonna find Warren in Ann Arbor on a Friday or Saturday night? When you were a student, not now.
When I was a student, okay. I did like Cantina.
Okay.
Like they have this thing called Cantina Tuesdays, but we coined it Tina Tuesdays. They have a new manager now, but on Tuesdays it would they'd had like $1 well shots and like $5 pitchers, and of course as a college student you're like, yeah,
side up.
Yeah, $10, you're good.
I was a big brown jug guy when I would visit.
Oh, my dad, because he's a season ticket holder actually for Michigan football, and so that's his breakfast spot.
I'm an old man. Like when I was 20, I was an old man. So yeah, I went to the old man bar when I was visiting Ann Arbor.
That's real.
So let's keep it on topic. Warren's East Lansing hangout.
Ooh, see, I really don't hang out a lot.
You got to be pretty buttoned up. I understand.
Yeah.
But like even if it's not just a Friday night, like what's your favorite sandwich place? Whatever it is.
Okay, so I do like Cast & Co. I love Cast & Co. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, it's great.
I don't know what it is.
It's like in Frandorish area.
Is it new?
Yeah, it's kind of new. Yeah.
Everything in East Lansing's new. I went up there in October. I didn't know where I was.
Yeah. So Cast & Co. is good. It's kind of like a little bougie a little bit. So, but I like it. But crunchies, I do like some crunchies. Can't go wrong with that.
I'm a big crunchies guy.
Let me see. What would be another place?
Ann Arbor kicks the shit out of East Lansing. And look, I'm a diehard Spartan. I'll look upon you.
Right.
But like, I'm sorry, Ann Arbor's culinary scene is 1,000 times better. I love you, East Lansing, but come on, like, step it up.
Yeah, we do have to step it up. Yeah. But I do like Crunchies and Cast & Co. Those are my favorite. But now they have a Buddy's Pizza in Lansing. And as a Detroiter, I love that.
Yeah, that's an iconic location for sure. So we'll move on. The funniest recruiting visit that you've had? Was there someone that just kind of was a character? Either the person was a character or something. The guy's tire blew out. Has there been anything kind of silly? I know you haven't been in the role that long, but anything that checks that box?
I think I have. Oh, so I have two. They're both commits now, and so well, they signees, so it works. So Michael Masunis, we were giving him a campus tour, and Nick Ruffing, who's the tight end analyst. We said what route we were going to do. So we go on the golf cart. He goes rogue and like busts this left to go through like the Mun hockey area. And I was like nervous because I didn't want to go on the grass. And long story short, I accidentally like scraped the golf cart because I like hit the rock and like everything bumped and everything. And I was like, oh my God, we're not going to get this kid to come. And so, but he came. And then another one was, I don't know if you saw on social media, but in Coach Tucker's house, he has a golf simulator. Yes. And the first night, Darian did something. And he either like hit or it broke and it like hit the
Darian Harris?
Yeah, it hit the picture frame glass. But it sounded louder than what it was. So like when it heard it, we were like, oh my God. So obviously all the parents are there and it's Chase Carter's mom. And it's like funny because like all the moms are like, where's my kid? But obviously the kids were already gone.
It's like you're in elementary school, like who broke the vase.
Right. And so she was actually talking to Coach Burton's wife. And Mrs. Carter, she heard the noise. She was like, oh, my God, I thought that was Chase. I was about to tell her, like, we'll come. Don't worry. We'll come.
But it's like, now, if it was your son, now he has to come.
Right. And so, but they
got to make this thing right.
Right. So I thought it. So when he committed, I called her. I was like, I'm so glad that you decided to come even after that glass broke.
That's funny. It all worked out there on both sides. So moving on, this is completely out of bounds.
Okay.
But based on your nickname, we'll do one more on the topic. Sorry,
okay.
We'll get to the next one.
Nicest
person in the MSU program. Now this could be someone on the staff, player, anyone that is in Michigan State official capacity, player, coach, staff, whatever. Who's the nicest person up there?
Probably Mandy. Mandy Chandler is. She just deserves everything.
And what's her role?
So she is the academic coordinator. She's been here for a very long time. Her dad was a head coach at St. Thomas Aquinas, in Florida. Her husband is the head wrestling coach, and she just gets it done. But she's always just so nice, so genuine. I can always go to her office and just kind of, chill and vent and whatnot. So I love Mandy.
All right, shout out to Mandy. It's like one of the only ones I haven't heard of up there, Mandy.
Oh, you should.
I'm looking to Mandy.
She's that deal.
All right. Well, everyone up there is awesome.
Oh, yeah, true. But yeah.
So now I jumped the gun, but we're there now.
Okay.
The best Beyonce song. My wife is a huge Beyonce fan.
Wife?
My wife does not watch this show, but she's watching today because she likes kind of that you're a Beyonce fan.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, she doesn't think I have enough women on here. By the way, it's not for lack of asking. It's like high school. I've been turned down by so many women.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've had a few, but I get turned down
a
lot. But she's going to be watching this.
Love it.
Best
Hi,
Beyonce
wife.
song.
Well, I think it's funny because how I even came up with it, it really was just a joke because so the story behind being the Beyonce football real quick, I actually was just getting really tired of being called a coach. I know it's not an insult, but I'm just not a coach. I just wish people would read. It doesn't say coach. And I guess just one day I just wasn't having the best of days and I just was like, you know what? I'm tired. And so I just go to Twitter and I was like, hey, recruits, I'm not a coach. And I'm too witty and I don't know why people even pay attention to me. And I was like, yeah, you can either call me Miss Lauren or the Beyonce of football, whatever works. And I just kind of said it and pressed send, didn't think much of it. And then Odell runs with it and everybody's like, ooh, this is cool. And I was like, oh, well.
It's not going away now. Yeah. So I hope you actually do like Beyonce.
Oh, I love Beyonce. Okay, I love Beyonce. No, I've been to her last 3 concerts. So I am.
I'm a Halo guy.
That's a good one.
That's my favorite one.
It's hard to pick my favorite, but I think. Okay, right now I would probably have to say. Well, I always love Upgrade You, even though that's a throwback. But from a recent Beyonce, I think Don't Hurt Yourself. And I would say Love on Top.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's crazy for cheating on her. How do you cheat on Beyonce? Get it together, Jay-Z. Come on. What are you doing? Anyway, last one, and then we're setting you free to your horse and buggy.
To go back
to East Lansing. So Kenneth Walker, the best player in Michigan State football history in my lifetime. I don't care what anybody says. I got yelled at. Just Kenneth Walker, the guy.
Right.
I met him. He was like that, but I didn't
He's
know him
such
as
a
well as
sweet
you
guy.
did.
Yeah.
Just what was Kenneth Walker like?
Kenneth Walker is a very sweet guy. Like, he's very down to earth, very kind of quiet. I think he's one of those guys that he lets his plays and works do the talking. Like, he's not flashy. And I don't have a problem with the flash. Like, like our wide receivers, like, they call themselves Ice Gang. And, but, when you're a wide out or a DB, you got to be kind of, flashy diva-like. But Kenneth is just very, chill, down to earth. He likes, I can tell he likes to kind of like sometimes be by himself, but when he wants to be with his friends, he can. But really the nicest guy. Like, my grandmother loves him so much. Like, I told him about my grandmother, and he was just like, thank you. Like, tell your grandmother I appreciate you. And so, really nice man. Like, I would have him, like, watch my dogs fight a dog. Like, just a sweet man. Just
him and Hayward when they were here. It's
all of our guys are pretty good. Like, we really don't have, any guys that are just give you a headache, or, they just think they're too good and, have like, the sunglasses, or just giving that. Like, all of them are just, really cool guys that when you hang out with, and they're kids, I always call them kids because, I'm a little bit older than them, but they're just really chill, fun guys, and they just, play football.
When Walker and Hayward called me sir, they're both calling me sir when they first got here.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 73 years old, but.
A lot of them call me Miss Lauren.
Yeah.
Like, they're just very polite. All of them are so polite.
Great guys.
Yeah.
Great guys. Love them both. All right, well, thank you so much.
Yes.
I would have kept you all night, but my God, your horse and buggy is out there waiting, and you got a long trip home, as we know. I think anyone that meets you is going to be enticed to come to Michigan State. You're awesome.
Thank you.
You're fantastic. I am thrilled that you're on our side of this thing.
Yes.
Please don't leave. If we need to get some St. Andre money or Ishbia money.
We'll call them.
Just let us know. Give us a chance to counter.
Okay. Gotcha.
Don't go without giving us a chance to counter. That's all I ask.
I promise.
So, Laura McCree, great to have you. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank
seriously.
you. Appreciate you.
So go green, keep chopping.
Go white, keep chopping.
All right, and we are thrilled with Ben Augusta, the great and powerful Oz on the other side of the wall here.
Woo.
He is fantastic. Did a great job for us today, as always. Eric Williamson and his boxers on his couch sitting there at home. Awesome set designer, graphic designer as well. We love our team.
Mom.
We have a great team here.
Yes, I can tell. But you guys are great. I really love this place. It's so cute.
Thank you. Please tell Mel.
Yes.
And please tell Jaden Reed, who's the other one I'm trying to get.
Okay. I'll talk to gang.
I'm very nice, and I'll be very kind to them.
Oh, yes. I will talk to them.
So it's a pleasure to have you.
Yes, thank you.
Go, bundle up in your horse and your carriage out there.
Away.
Get it up. Laura McCree, this was a real pleasure. Spiro Avenue Show, Justin Spiro. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.